Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Go to camera 1 or whatever it is.
Yeah, camera 1.
Grant camera. So stupid. You got the soundboard. You really...
Like all of those? Welcome to Contra Gentiles Season 3, Episode 30-something.
Because I don't know which one it is.
Oh yeah, me either. I actually couldn't put it on the screen, but it's fine.
Okay.
We'll put it on after.
It's fine.
Yeah, but anyway, Jeremy got this. I sound like weird to myself now.
I know, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you got this new interface with a soundboard on it. So that's all. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's way too addicting.
No, I know it is. I won't abuse it. This is better than Kirkland Malbec.
Oh, yeah.
It is better. Did you get a bug in it?
No, I thought it was, but it wasn't.
You were disgusted for a second?
Mm-hmm.
I told you about the wasp that I got in my car?
Yeah.
Can I tell this?
Yes, yeah.
So, there's the intersection by New Sagai on 36 where you can turn right.
Yeah.
I think this is compressing our audio quite a bit more than our other interface. I would be curious to hear how this sounds as
Oh, yeah.
compared to the other. I'll do a comparison and see which I like better. I was on 36 by New Sagai going to turn right to go towards like where you go to like UAA or something, just to get on Seward Highway. And I stopped at the intersection and then turned. And within that time, a wasp flew in my window. And I literally went, no! Like I screamed, no! And I'm like trying to like get it out of the car, but it keeps landing on the steering wheel while I'm in stop and go traffic and on the stick shift. It keeps landing on the stick shift.
Mm.
And I keep just like screaming over and over.
I would have just pulled the car over.
No, I couldn't. I'm in the middle of traffic. I'm in the middle lane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm stuck. And I'm sure people around me are like, what is he screaming about? And then I finally grabbed like a receipt.
Yeah.
And I waited. I kept like trying to get it with this receipt while I'm screaming and it's landing on my stick shift while I'm trying to drive and stop and go traffic and stuff. And then I grabbed a receipt and just like crushed it really angrily into the like door frame. Underneath, above the window. Oh, yeah.
Just with your hands?
With a receipt.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah, I went, because it was in there for like 8-10 minutes. I'm like battling with this wasp.
Oh, man.
It's pretty bad.
One of these, I think it was maybe 2 summers ago. I think it was the first year of COVID. Mm. We had this really bad wasp nest. Problem around the house.
Oh, I remember that. No, I remember that.
They just kept coming in. That was horrible, man.
Where were they?
We finally saw the nest. It was on the roof.
But above the...
Yeah. And so it kept coming into the kitchen area.
Because we had them in the roof, I think. Mm-hmm. They were in the roof. Like, there's the vents underneath the eaves on the house for moisture. Mm-hmm. It was like, they were like in there. Then they had to fumigate or something.
Did I tell you about my old house when I found the giant wasp nest?
No. Is this why you're afraid of wasps?
No. I mean my recent old house, not when I was a kid.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. So
your previous house.
Yeah.
The weirder one than this one. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. The first one was like a ranch style home. And
I love ranch style.
Yeah.
Single floor. Anyway.
And so I had to fix up the bathroom. So the bathroom got too much moisture from the outside. And so, like, all the tiles were starting to collapse in the front where the bathtub is.
Yeah.
And so I had to replace everything, all the drywall and all that shit. And so, with the first part that I cut out was fine. It just looked like moldy old shit. And so we took it out, replaced it, and then we went to the other side of the drywall, and we cut it open. And behind it was just a giant
one.
Giant, like it was
the height of the wall kind of thing.
And I was just, because we always had a wasp problem at that house. Always. We didn't know where the nest was. Because whenever we found a small nest, we would just kill it.
Yeah.
But then on the corner of the house, we kept seeing like them getting inside. We're like, we didn't know where it's going. We just thought it was like going on the other side of the roof, whatever. But no, they were just building a fucking nest inside of the wall. And it was just, I don't even want to think about it.
That's horrible.
It was one of the worst things I think I've seen in my life. Yeah, I hated it.
Interesting. I think this thing is recording both microphones on the same track. Not that that matters.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't care. I mean, it's recording both. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I guess because probably we pick stereo. Maybe if you pick the other one, it does
multiple tracks. Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't really care.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's working. It's working on the stream, and then it's actually compressing pretty well.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I think that's why the monitoring sounds off because it's like pre-compressed.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so have you been thinking about anything, or you've been super busy?
Yeah, I've just been really busy.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that.
No, I think like the last 2 days, I just finally got back on Twitter a little
Oh
bit
my
more.
god.
I'm just dealing with bullshit.
Yeah. Is there a new bullshit that's interesting to discuss, or we're just farming the same
Yeah.
like 20 people that keep arguing with you
Yeah, I know.
as content for the show?
No, it's the first time I encountered that one Negro. Was his like Marcel?
Marcel Dumas.
Yeah, quite
I don't necessarily want to shit talk too much on the show. I don't know if that's in good taste, but
Yeah, I don't think it's shit talk. You know, that's just my first encounter with him.
he's
It was just kind of weird. I was like, oh, I didn't know, like that. I guess that part, like the people that kept responding to me prior were either going to be the libertarian anarchists or the Protestants who are.
His handle has anarchy in it.
It does, right? Yeah, but I've never discussed anything with him.
Yeah, I had him blocked for a long time.
Did you? Yeah.
Or no, I had him blocked for a day, but then I was blocked by him.
Oh,
mutually,
okay,
and
yeah.
then-
But other than that, I guess not much encounter philosophically, just more funny anecdotes of fucking with the soundboard with the governor and shit. But
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to think if there's anything that's been happening that I noticed in my, because I've ended my interactions with libertarian anarchists on Twitter. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I've blocked everybody. I don't.
That's good. I mean,
I can't do it anymore. But what do you think? I didn't know if it would be, if it's just them that discusses hypotheticals as if they're real to justify their theory specifically, or if it's just like a new phenomenon in.
Can you give me an example? What do you mean by hypotheticals?
Like when I say something like you could go live in the woods, and they're like, well, the state could do this thing, and it's like it's a political theory. So you tell an anarchist, I can go live in the woods.
Yeah,
you can go live in the. You can go live in the woods, and they're like, well, the state still could do something about it. And I'm like, well, they're not doing anything about it, so go live in the woods. They're like, well, they could do it. I'm like, well,
I see.
They're
what you
not.
mean. Yeah.
They're not doing it. It doesn't happen. It hasn't happened here. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, it could happen. It's like, okay, well, what's the point? Because I kind of understand that as a hypothetical. Like, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like, you can't blame Protestants for transgenderism because Protestant thought doesn't necessarily lead to transgenderism. It's like, well, it doesn't necessarily, but it did.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Like, the discussion we had a while ago about the Immaculate Conception, and I was getting kind of caught up on if the fact that Mary was a virgin isn't a necessary quality that Mary must have had, or something.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
And you kept saying, well, it's not, but it was the case.
Yes.
And I kept going, well, it didn't have to be. And you're like, okay, but it was. And I was getting in that loop that
I
they
see
get
what
in.
You mean. Yeah. Why do they argue that way? I don't know. I do find that kind of interesting. I think you're right.
Because political theory is all hypothetical now.
Yeah.
None of it reflects reality.
Right. Yes.
And it's not even just about libertarians and anarchists. It's like communists.
No, basically anybody. Anybody that I talk who are really, really into politics, because neither of you or I, in reality, like I could be friends with a communist and I could be friends with a libertarian, as long as they are okay with like shit talking and actually discussing.
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, I really think that you could be Catholic anywhere. I don't think that the state or the government form necessarily forms the way the truth of Catholicism or whatever.
Yeah. No, someone commented in the group chat on the sounds. But I just thought it was funny. But anyway,
and so
people are going to be like, oh, that's so irritating and distracting.
I know, yeah, it is.
I know. Anyway. Because I wonder, my thought would be that if one has a political theory that to be coherent has to be completely self-referential, which they all pretty much do.
Yeah.
Like libertarianism, anarchism, communism, fascism, all of them like require you to ignore some kind of real world reality in favor of a hypothetical. It's almost like you have to discuss hypotheticals for it to be coherent because it doesn't reflect reality. And if you want to spend all of your time talking about a theory that doesn't reflect reality, the next best thing is constant hypothetical. Because at least it could happen. Like,
I think that's a good point. And it's kind of like as if the most contemporary political theorists, I mean, it's hard to say because political theorists really is a contemporary phenomenon. Probably within the last 200 years, you could really say that it became a discipline.
Its own thing. It wasn't just an applied. Right. It wasn't just ethics, but then applied.
Yes, yeah. And so I think political theory in general, the way that it exists, is one that uncontextualizes like political phenomena. Mm-hmm. And so rather than always giving, because like for example, I think you can make broad claims of broad forms of government.
Obviously.
And so if you're going to say like monarchy, we could speak of the intrinsic nature of what it means to be.
What are the qualities of a monarchy?
Yes. What's the qualities of democracy? What's the qualities of an aristocracy, and so on and so forth? Like that's fine, but when you begin to get into particulars, I think that you can't really discuss that outside of its manifestations.
Well, because because politics, and I think it depends on which resource you reference. Mm-hmm. There's like a certain number of schools of philosophy.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of the times it says 5. There are 5. It's like metaphysics, ethics, logic. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. There's like 5 of them.
There's aesthetics, or at least classically was
aesthetics, and then there's another. I don't remember what they all are, but then some of them will have like political philosophy.
Yes, yeah.
That's like its own school. When it's properly, if one wants to be a real political theorist or a theorist that can execute proper political thoughts, is that you study ethics with the same vigor you study politics, and then when you have political decisions to make, you apply your ethical conclusions to those problems.
Yes, yeah.
But it doesn't mean, because for say a communist has a perfect vision for what the state should look like and how the economy should operate and how people should interact with each other. It's almost like you have to wait for the perfect circumstance to implement those solutions to appear, and then you're right. Like it's almost like you have created a hypothetical situation wherein maybe your solutions are correct.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I think the part that gets a little more...
If the state was literally run by the mafia,
yeah,
anarchists would have more of a point.
Yeah.
A little bit. They would be more justified in their...
But I think that if they were focusing on pragmatic ways of adjusting a certain government to either fit some kind of ethical ideal, I would say then that would be a proper pursuit. But it seems like most of the times it's not really attempting to pragmatically find solutions. It's attempting to articulate an abstract, I guess, understanding of what some of these things are. So it isn't sitting there and saying that, well, what is the best form or utility of the use of tax that is not immoral and so on and so forth. I think that's a proper discussion that anybody could have. But when you begin to then speak of politics as if we're trying to comprehend its metaphysical reality, I think that's the part where it gets a little bit weird. And I think that's where many political, especially like the Twitter sphere political theorists, have become.
Which is essentially where that happens. Sounds like Reddit and Twitter is where 95% of political discourse happens now.
Because when you actually are, when you see actual politicians working, it's about what is it that we're going to do.
Yeah, it's how are we going to apply our ethical conclusions to the problems we need to solve now.
And I think that's normally the difficulty I have, or at least that people get pissed at me. Because I honestly, at first, I don't get pissed. I just say something, and then they start doing ad hominem. So okay, now.
Well, they're
now
also
I'm annoyed.
religious. This specific group of people is religiously possessed.
Yeah, and so that's where
hypothetically possessed. They're possessed by hypotheticals.
Yeah.
It's just like a false religion almost.
But yeah, I just think at the end of the day, it's like, well, we should talk about, what is a proper form of government? How can we make it more effective? What can we do to be a more moral or just society? All those things I think are good conversations, but it's never that conversation with those groups of people. It's always this weird, almost like a deification of politics, to where they're trying to articulate a phenomena outside of particular realities. Like that they want to take it into an abstract world in which now we could just talk about the state.
So I think that the problem, I don't think we haven't had this conversation before, so I don't have and I think because it's based on hypotheticals, it's hard to talk about.
I know.
But what I think it is because you're talking about how you can't talk about it outside of practical circumstances that exist in the world, because it's politics. It's not ethics.
Yes,
Ethics is the study of the morality of action based on natural law. Politics is not because how would you define politics if you were going to make it like a school of philosophy? It's not. It's moral. Ethics is the study of moral action.
Yeah.
As is reflected by reality. Then what is politics then? Like what's the
politics it really is.
It's not a
study. That's what I mean.
You can study history, like the history.
Exactly. Again, history is a study, but politics is an applied.
It's
thing.
an applied study. It's
because it's like for example, when you talk to many contemporary political scientists or whatever, they want to talk about things like the state.
Yeah.
Right. So you have
the concept of the state.
Yes. So you have this concept of the state, and then they want to infuse into it a lot of particulars that not every state shares.
That most states don't share.
Yeah. And so when we get into the discussion of taxes, it's okay, in the U.S., you can, and people have won by suing the IRS. Now, that's not true in every state. That's not true that...
It's not easy.
Yes, it's not easy, but it's possible. It's still something that one can do if they hire the right lawyer and if they want to attack them. Because I think most of the times the state simply covers his ass really well.
Yeah. But, well, of course, they're a state.
Yes.
They can afford the best lawyers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to talk about the state outside of a particular
class
state,
action lawsuits happen all the time.
All the time. That's
against the state and companies.
Yes. And that's what I mean. It's that, that's a reality that exists in the U.S. That's not a reality that exists everywhere. Yeah. That's a uniquely American quality. And so... to talk about these things outside of these particular manifestations, I think it just gets a bit kooky.
Well, it just isn't. It's just, I think the point is that it's not the point of politics, isn't it?
Yes.
Because if that's the point of politics, then you have to construct a false reality. You have to construct the ontology of the state that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And that's why hypotheticals are so important, because then there is the one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because it's not actually talking about something real, right? It's so abstract that then they make claims like, well, if you don't pay your taxes, the government shows up at your door. It was like, they really don't.
I don't know when anyone that's happened to.
I knew somebody that didn't pay taxes for 7 years. 7 fucking years. You know what happened to him? Nothing.
Did you just pay him all at the end or something? Or?
Yeah, in the end, he kind of did. Yeah, kind of. He made a deal.
Did he go to jail?
No, he made a deal with them.
Okay.
Called them up. He's like, well, I have all these things incurred. And then, because all
this is what I can pay. Here's this amount.
Yes, yeah. Because what they do is just keep sending you fucking mail. And then they send you to collections. Like this is what the government does. But when you when you try to abstractly make it into like, but the state comes to you at guns, it's like, but you're not talking about like what state? Probably there's a state that does that. Maybe in Russia they do that. I don't fucking know.
I doubt it.
Yeah, but in the U.S. that is.
But this doesn't happen.
That's not something that happens.
Yeah.
Because the state, the state is not an abstract reality.
Your money individually does not matter to the state.
No, especially most people that are just on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right. There's like 1% of people that the state probably will go after you with guns if you don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
But the rest of people, they just don't.
If Elon Musk doesn't pay taxes, they're going to be mad about it.
Yeah, like Shakira, like in Spain, you know, they're pissed at Shakira and be like, you have to pay this much or you're going to go to jail for whatever, for 15 years or something. Yeah. But even then still, did anybody show up to her with guns?
No.
What did she got a fucking affidavit mail that says you got to pay. Like that is what happens, right? Yeah. And then you go to court and then you could challenge it and blah, blah, blah. And so, you know.
Because I think that's a Jordan Peterson point. You know, there's no law that the state wouldn't enforce with the barrel of a gun kind of thing.
Yeah.
In theory, yes.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah,
because
it's not. That doesn't mean
it's so
that's
abstract that, you know, I have not ever seen that to be the case.
Yeah, it's purely hypothetical.
Yeah, it's like I have 2 years, ever more now, 2 years worth of parking tickets.
Yeah,
you want to get a mail.
Yeah,
you got to pay this. Okay, then you court.
You know, it's so funny. I got a parking ticket one time we were recording. It was like the $20 or whatever. It is.
Yeah.
$35.
Mm-hmm.
Is it $35 now?
Is it? I think it is now. Yeah.
35. It was $35.
Yeah.
And I didn't pay it.
Yeah.
And then it went to collections and it was like $47. I was
like,
you know what? I should probably pay this. And then the website I tried for a week and it wouldn't process my card.
Yeah.
It would just say there's an error.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, you don't have my money then.
Yeah.
And I never heard about it. I never got a letter and I never got anything.
Nothing.
At all.
Yeah.
And it's a private company. So
yes.
I mean, I know that's not the state, but
yeah,
it's the same idea.
Like when I normally read that from people, the only thing I could think of in my head was like, wow, you probably never actually broke the law, have you? That's the way that I feel about it. It's because it's like anybody that actually has broken the law understands the way that the state actually functions. Mm-hmm. I think these people on Twitter and these theorists and people like, what's his name? Jordan Peterson have never actually broken the law and has never actually gotten caught and has never actually had to deal with the way the state functions.
Yeah.
Because most of the way that it functions is just through mail. Is that they send you mail, they say, show up to court at this time, you don't come to court, unless it's a high-profile case, there's just a warrant out for your arrest. And if you never get pulled over, you could literally have a warrant out for your arrest.
Forever.
It's
rare they do manhunts.
Yes.
Because it's a waste of time.
Yes, exactly.
It's a waste of time and state resources.
Yes. What, because you owe like $1,200 in taxes? You really think they're going to come at you with guns?
No.
They got like bigger shit to worry about.
They'll ruin your life in other ways. Like they'll tack that. They'll tack the interest on that to some income you have, never tell you, and then 10 years later you're like, oh, I owe like $200,000.
Yeah.
Like my mom's been battling with the IRS over like $200,000 that my grandmother left.
Yes, yeah. But they're not going to come to her with guns.
No.
They're not going to imprison her.
They're not going to take her house. They're not going to, unless they have to make a point, then they will. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about, you know, like the Ross Ulbricht thing, the like Silk Road thing. It's like you get made a point of.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yep. That's all it is.
Like, yeah, it's shitty. And yeah, the sentence is extreme.
Yes.
But don't be that guy.
Yeah.
What, they want the right to do that? It's like, no, but I want to develop and run the internet's largest, you know, contraband website for drugs and prostitutes and stuff like that. I want the option to do that. The state can't tell me to not do that.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Like, what's the hang up? I don't understand. What do these people want to do that they can't do?
I know. They think that everybody's going to get an FBI raid the way Trump did.
No.
I was like, you know how
he's Donald Trump, dude.
Yes, that is why.
What other politician has been raided?
Yeah, I don't know.
Seriously, like in the last.
Yeah, I don't know.
Since I've been around, I
think Nixon was the only other one that
Anthony
did.
Weiner.
Yes, yeah.
he did. I don't even think he got raided. He just had to turn it over.
Yeah. how benign the government and the state are when you break certain stupid laws, like not paying taxes, not paying property tax and stuff. Yeah. It's very, very, and it's like so many opportunities to make deals. That's the thing that people don't realize. You could just go with them with a deal and be like, hey, sorry, I fucked up. Couldn't really pay that. I have this much. And most of the times it's like you go to court, the judge looks at it, he said, well, he is willing to pay.
The attorney for the state doesn't show up sometimes.
Yeah, he doesn't show up.
The judge just goes, yep.
So, okay, you're good. That's what you pay. You're good to go. And so it's so, I don't know. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's horror. I don't know. Like it doesn't actually reflect reality because they just it's all it's all fantastical.
Well, it's just hypothetical. It's
it's
not
hypothetical.
reality.
Yeah. It's like they just talk about the state. Here's a state. They talk about a free market. Here's the free market, or social power, whatever they want to call it. Mm-hmm. But they're not actually talking about its actual manifestation of reality. It's always in the abstract. Like the social powers, the businesses are just there as a clean, they're little deities that never do anything wrong. And it's like you just, you don't know. You're either being willfully naive or
insane,
or just have thought about it so abstractly for so long that you don't realize that there are actual real events in a world that politics deals with. Like it's just a practical discipline. That's how I look at it. Like I can't even call it a study. It's like a practical art. Yeah. And so politics is that. It's an applied reasoning skills for a certain outcome of a goal in which you have in mind. Yeah. Like if you have a goal in mind that you want your state to be energy independent, and then so
you'd make certain political decisions.
Yes, to make that. It's an applied art, and so anything outside of that just seems like, what are we talking about? Like, I don't know this state that they speak of. It lives so fantastically that there's no qualities that you could actually say about it. I could say qualities about the Alaska government, for example. I could talk about the way the legislatures work. I could talk about the way the judges are appointed, the way our elections work with now with ranked choice voting. Like there's particular things that we could talk about. So we could discuss about that in particular. We could talk about, what is what ought we to do with all this mess that we're in, and so on and so forth. But to just then, I'm just going to talk about the state, like the state. It's like talking again, like the homosexual or the whatever, the transgender. It's like you're just, it's so pie in the sky. It's so abstract that it's not a reflection. You're not using language to reflect reality anymore. And that's not to be a nominalist, because I do believe we could talk about universals. Obviously. But the state is not a universal. The state is a particular manifestation of human behavior and human relations with one another. So that's not a universal principle. They're simply the way we function. We label things, prior to it, that's the other thing I don't really understand. Like government, and I can't think of a situation that there was private businesses prior to a government. Like normally there's groups of people that conquer land, or they have a rebellion, and they have a revolution. So then they formulate their own government, and then in formulating their own government, they make laws. They have they provide the protection to people to allow them the opportunity to trade, and then trade happens after you form like this structure. Now, from the structure, you know what are the rules, what is proper trade, whatever. Maybe when you have a revolution in the interim, like the point where they overthrow the government and they're putting in their new form of government, there's probably like a point in between there where it's so chaotic that people are just underhand deals. Yes, I could see that. There's no laws being enforced. Yes, but for the most part, it's like you have conquerors of land, and through the conquering of the land, you institute a government, and from the government you have citizens. That basically citizens are what's the definition for citizens? It's like not proper, but
I mean,
well, because there's citizens and then there's non-citizens that can live in your country that are basically either illegal immigrants or they could be
they're people that
like
are just
slaves.
allowed.
Yeah,
they're
like,
naturalized.
yes, but
members of a state.
Right. Yeah, but
recognized members of a
yeah,
state.
I guess like citizens are recognized members. So
maybe.
So you make rules of what it means to be a citizen, right? Because for example, in Italy is one of the hardest countries to become a citizen. Like you could live there for 7 years, 8 years, and not be a citizen. And so,
but it's really, really easy if even your grandparents are Italian.
Yes, it's really, really easy for grandparents. Exactly, right. And so they kind of make the rules.
They're an ethno-state. Yeah.
In the U.S., we have the birth.
Japan and China and Korea are the same way.
Yeah, exactly. France, I think, is like another difficult place that you like. Even if you get married, you don't become a citizen just because you married a Spaniard, you married a French, you married an Italian. Yeah. Just because your kid was born there, he's not. They don't have birthright citizens in most countries. And so so you kind of make rules on what it means to be a citizen. Like, what are the qualities? Like, they could live here even though you're not a citizen. These people are slaves. These people are. You have to be a landowner maybe to be a citizen, and so on and so forth. Like there's different rules we apply. Then from there, trade begins to happen. And then you're utilizing the structure that's already in place.
Well, and you're also granted certain privileges.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, granted
whether
privileges.
It's voting or protection by the military, or use of certain infrastructure, or
and so it's
and that's very broad. That's not a comment on any specific state.
No, yeah,
that's just. It's what a citizen is.
Yes, just describing the phenomena that happens with human interaction.
And even then, you could have a state that granted no. Yep. Well, I guess we live in the U.S. It's like you don't have much of. There's not a whole lot of meaningful special privilege for citizens as opposed to illegal immigrants. Now they get a lot of the same.
Yeah, not
so
anymore.
Even then, like even citizens are like.
Yeah.
Like technically you're allowed a lot of these things, but the illegal immigrants. Are provided with a lot of the same services and facilities and infrastructure that citizens are. So you could even have a state where citizens got no special treatment.
Yep. Yeah.
So even saying that is
exactly
is dependent on our understanding of states that existed in history.
Yes, and that's what I mean. Like that's why I started saying I don't know any state that didn't have this, right? Any nation that didn't have this.
But it could.
But it could, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
It wouldn't be very. I can't imagine it would work well, but maybe it could. Like you don't know.
Yeah,
you could have a culture of people that that would be fine with them. But
and so like having a discussion like that makes sense to me, but then when you start using the discussion of politics as if you're discussing a phenomena outside of human behavior,
you're just reality. Like it's a feature of being.
Yes, it's like well, it's not. It's pragmatic, and that's why utilitarianism is good for politics. Mm-hmm. It's not good for morality, but it's definitely good for politics because it's how can you maximize your utility of whatever your end goal is. Mm-hmm. So
and I think that's the reason that people react so emotionally so quickly is that when you say something like they say that the state has some quality. Yeah. You're like, no, it doesn't. Like this one doesn't, or it doesn't have to.
Yeah, that's what
you're
I mean.
Literally you're attacking their concept of reality at all.
Yeah.
And I think that they're so burnt out arguing with people that they just immediately fly to insults.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the point where I just arguing with people, you get like 3 exchanges. And then I'm like, like daddy fucker or whatever you say. Or whatever that thing I said, like, I don't know what I don't know what suffering.
Oh, that was a great one.
It was so good.
Yeah, that was a great one.
I guarantee your ego is a cheaper price to pay or something. I was like, I'm writing like a serial killer's manifesto. This whole thing. Yeah. That was actually that was the last one. But anyway, but they get so. Yeah, when you say they're when we say they're religiously possessed, we have to justify that because that is a big claim.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is that when you say that their concept of a state is hypothetical and contingent on that actually being the case, maybe.
Yeah.
Then it's like someone, insulting Mary or something.
Yeah. And
then it's just, okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I think that's what it becomes at that point.
Like if you were having an argument with a Protestant and they just started insulting Mary, you'd be like, okay, well,
yeah,
that's it then.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, yeah, it really does depend, because if they were just sincerely objecting to it, but if they're going to be like, well, I just think Jesus fucked Mary or something, it's like, okay, now you're just being malicious, and at that point I'll do it. But I don't think whenever you and I present something, we're not being malicious.
No, never, no.
Yeah,
but you will be once they.
Yes.
We're doing that now.
Yes, once they start attacking. So even then, if they start, like when a Protestant says they don't understand why they need to venerate Mary,
that's a discussion.
I don't get mad. It's like,
no, of course not.
And so for me to simply say that, well, the state, we can't divorce practical manifestations of the state with the concept of the state, then they just get mad. And it's like, why is that such an offensive statement, man?
They're like, you're retarded. And you're like, oh.
Yes. It's like, okay.
Well, we're doing that now.
That's, because that just seems so obvious to me. It's like, no, let's if I'm wrong, then let's talk about it, right? There's no reason to like start getting that pissed about it,
but they do.
Yeah. It's the same thing with the atheists. It's like I just put one little tweet, like, that the atheists do not have a.
Oh, that one guy?
Yeah.
Who needs the punch in the face?
Yes, yeah.
The one that I said my thing to?
Yeah.
He's not even an anarchist, I don't think. But
I know.
He happened to receive the funneling of all of my pent-up rage for...
Because it's ridiculous. It's like, atheists do not have a logical ground for making univocal moral claims, right? You could ground it on different things, on preference or whatever, but to say that you have a logical ground, you really
could
don't.
have him on the show or something.
I know.
We could tap like, hey, do you want to come on the show?
Yeah.
You should talk about that dumb shit you're saying with us and record it and put it on the internet.
Yeah.
I want to do that sometime. We haven't had a contentious recording.
I know.
In a year.
Yeah. It would be great.
I know it would.
Especially if it was a high profile like Sam Harris or something.
Oh.
That'd be beautiful.
Fly him up.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, we love your Jewishness. We hate God and Muslims.
I keep calling him Ben. All right, Ben. Ben Stiller.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you look so much like Ben Stiller.
He looks so much like him, man.
Ben Stiller's, what did you call him? His ugly cousin?
Yeah.
And what it was, Papple's response was he's like, imagine being Ben's... Imagine being, what was he? How did he say it?
Ben Stiller is a better looking or whatever. Dude, Ben Stiller being the better looking cousin.
Yes, imagine that. Yeah. Remember exactly how he worded it. It was beautiful.
Yeah. No, it
comes from a long line of autists, apparently. So.
Oh, it does. Oh,
he's not autistic. No, Papple.
Oh, okay.
He's not autistic.
Oh,
he comes from a long line of autists. That's
really?
How he explained it. He's like, oh, that's why you are the way you are. Fact check.
Yeah.
No, but anyway.
Yeah, we should write Sam Harris and make, hey, we should have a conversation.
We hate Trump.
Yeah. He's bad.
And we could dress like Antifa people and do a bit the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And he would never know. Because he'd never listen.
I know, yeah.
I hate Donald Trump. He hates democracy. Joe Biden could have the dead corpses of children hung up like Christmas lights around the whole length of all of his walls. And then the skins of children on the floor like rugs, like bears, skinned, and their faces making horrible pained expressions. And then other, tables of other dead children freshly killed that he has yet to process into these decorations. I wouldn't care. Because at least Trump didn't get elected. What a moron. You like the thing where he was like, where's heaven? We have satellites everywhere. Yeah, we're beaming where's heaven? And the guys are sitting on the couch like slow blinking. It's beautiful. Yeah, it was a beautiful.
That was just a great moment because those other guys don't seem necessarily that intelligent.
They're
but
interviewers.
But they were just like, they even were astonished by his stupidity. They're just like, what the fuck? This guy's like a leading intellectual of our century.
He won't be remembered, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he will.
Maybe too.
Or Dawkins might. Mm-hmm. Dawkins will last.
He's been around for longer.
He's been around for longer, and he has more of an aesthetic cultivated. He's more of a he is more of a caricature.
Yeah, and
Sam Harris is just like an annoying dude.
Yeah, and the entire memetics theory became mainstream.
Yeah, so he has some claim to something.
He does, yeah. Harris doesn't really. Besides talking about getting high. When he talks about taking
mushrooms and
MDMA, is that what it is?
DMT.
Was it DMT?
MDMA?
I think it was MDMA, yeah, in his book.
Is that Molly? I don't know what MDMA. I don't know anything.
I think that's the what is that? Ecstasy.
Oh, XTC.
Yeah. And he
it's like, now I know everything.
Yeah, now I just felt infinite love. I don't know if you read Waking Up by Sam Harris.
It's like, I've been high, dude.
It was so bad. It was like, oh my gosh, this is bad. Whenever an atheist is like, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I'm like, after reading that, if that's what you guys mean, it's wow.
You're not converting anybody.
No, you just.
That spiritual but not religious thing is the stupidest.
I know. I'm so glad
spiritual but not religious. Okay, so you think there might be something, but you don't care?
Yeah.
Like, you know that something's beyond you, but it doesn't matter to you enough to think about it?
It's almost as if they like the aesthetics of being like this hippie person that goes to India. But yet they don't want to believe in anything beyond them. I think that's all it means.
They respect the commitment of people who are devoutly religious, but they just
don't want to care to any of it. Yeah, they don't actually care.
Yeah,
they just want to take drugs and talk about how they had the spiritual awakening
because they had a mushroom one time.
Yes, and they saw things differently, man. Just. Yeah. I felt infinite love. I remember when I was reading that, I was like, oh my gosh.
You read the whole thing?
Oh, yeah. I read, so the books of Harris I read completely was A Letter to a Christian Nation.
I own that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Waking Up.
No, did we burn that one?
The Moral Landscape, probably.
I think we burned A Letter to a Christian Nation.
Moral Landscape.
I forgot about the book burning.
I know, that was great.
That was fun. Remember what was the video? I should tweet the video that Anne Marie took where she did a beautiful video. And I'm like, have you ever burned books before? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
Like we should do this more. It was such a beautiful. She couldn't have known that the dialogue.
I know.
Was I think she's like has the video and she's doing a beautiful thing. Have you ever burned books before? You're like, no. I'm like, it's pretty good. I'm gonna spend some time finding. That was fun. A year ago, year and a half.
It's more than that now.
Year and a half at most.
It's probably a year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably early summer 2021. Time just passes.
No, because that was the intro for our season 2.
Yes, so it's in there somewhere. I just have to remember where. But when was that hiatus?
That's what I mean. It's almost 2 years ago when we did that, I think.
We've been doing this for 2 years and a month or something.
No, this is season 3, so.
Yeah, but we started 2020, August 2020.
Did we?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the first lockdowns.
Yeah.
Dang, I gotta remember when that was. But trying to think of. Only hit 44 minutes. You want to talk about AI?
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that's more and more present online. The more I'm on there, the more I know people who are... It's because it is funny to see what you can get the computer to do.
Yes.
If you're like,
Of course.
Jeff Foxworthy, fucking the Porsche from Cars.
Yeah.
The Pixar movie. Like,
did that?
no, I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of them you can't do, like, celebrities. They don't let you do celebrities, or like you can't do stuff with violence in it. You can't do stuff with, which is not fun. Well, it's not fun anymore. But like I get it as like a bit, as like trying to game it to see what ridiculous thing you can get it to do, which is almost, it's just like a puzzle almost. It's like you just have to think about how to word the thing to get it to do what you want, which is fine. But it's when people start calling like AI produced images like art that starts to get weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what thoughts you have about AI, like what you think. I think as the images and stuff.
But I mean, the thing about AI is that it's just, it's just a reproduction of what man put into it. I guess I have no issue if you say that it created art, because it was
still man-made.
Yeah, it's still man-made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so if they put the algorithm to do that, then it's going to do it. And so, the machine isn't doing anything on its own per se. It's always simply acting in accordance to what the man put into it. It's just a very advanced mechanism.
It's kind of cathartic. Get a little emotional about it. You ever burned books before?
No, it's the first time.
This is our inaugural book burning. We'll have to have what's today? June 5th?
Yes.
June 5th will be our annual book burning day.
Yes.
We'll each bring a book and we'll just burn them.
I know, yeah, we could always do different ones.
Anyway,
that's great.
It was a fun. We did, the book burning. But anyway, I don't know if my thoughts about it are as interesting as they were when I was having like experiencing them viscerally.
Yeah.
But the problem I see with AI like that is it almost because I think that most people who are intelligent and honest enough and know enough about quote unquote artificial intelligence are not under or of the illusion that artificial intelligence is literally intelligent. I don't think anybody.
Yeah, like the people actually they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're not under that illusion.
But what I fear is that in popular culture, it mechanizes the nature of, or our understanding of the nature of the imagination even more than it already is.
Yeah.
And I think that's bad.
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah, it's really the progression of the Cartesian mechanization of things.
Yeah, it's just computer computation,
computational theory of the mind.
Yeah.
And and so that's the part that I think is kind of silly, because it almost reminds me of how it's almost a reverse of what Protestants do when they think that the Bible is self-referential. And so when they read the Gospel of John and like you see they're talking about the Bible, so obviously they're not. And the AI thing, it almost is the reverse. They want to say that they are creating like actual intelligence while ignoring that there's an intelligent man creating it.
Yeah.
And so it's like the machine, the mechanisms that make the machine cannot create itself. Like,
they can't do anything beyond how they're programmed to do it.
Yes.
By people.
Like if I put transistors and, the plastics, the wiring just on a floor, it's not going to morph into an intelligent being.
Yeah.
The thing that it is that we, as human beings, for one thing, we put it together because we're rational, so we understand the qualities that is necessary to manifest whatever we're trying to manifest at that point, right? And then we use our imagination to write code for this thing to behave the way we want it to behave.
Yeah.
and then we use predictable factors, basically by seeing patterns in human behavior, and so then we take those patterns and we write code for it so that the machine can mimic it.
Replicate it.
Yeah,
somehow,
and it's not even replicating it identical. It's mimicry. It's like.
Do you think the fear of, again, quote unquote, artificial intelligence, ever? People are like, oh, is it going to gain sentience? Is it going to gain?
Yeah, of course not. No.
No, only it won't, because you'd only fear that if you incorrectly conceived of the nature of the mind and how it works.
Yeah.
If you really think the mind operates like a computer.
Yeah.
Then programming the computer to do it in this way, it would just learn things.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though that's not the case.
No.
But if you don't think of the mind right, then you might be afraid of that.
Yes.
Because I'm not afraid of I have no concern about what AI.
No, me either.
AI will.
Yeah.
AI will do whatever it's told to do. That's not. It's never gonna.
Because the mind is not computational.
No.
And so the machine is.
Yeah.
That's all that it is. It really. Yeah. I mean, the difference between a computer and a light switch really is complexity of the transistors in either of them.
Yeah.
The amount that there's in there, for one thing, right?
Yeah.
There's more of them, because a transistor literally is just like a light switch going on and off.
Yeah.
And so it is like you pump certain electricities that go into it, and then those electrical signals and impulses get sent to another part of a computer, like the monitor, for example, and it has millions of transistors on the pixels for the screen, in which then begins to turn on and off to create the illusion of shadows and create the illusion of text or whatever. Yeah. And so we could kind of see what is going on, but that's. There really isn't much else to it. It's just a shit ton more of transistors, more complex computations in order for it to display the way we want it to display. But in the end of the day, it's not intelligent. It's not actually thinking. The man had to have put all that information in it.
Yeah,
like it didn't produce any information. It just we kept putting it. While man has rational thought, and with rational thought, they can take things in a world and manipulate it to something that did not exist prior to it. That is how we even made the computer, and that's what I mean. It's like they want to act as if that computer just came into being.
Yeah, it was created.
Yes, it was like, no, we made that.
It's like
thing.
we discovered it. We discovered computation.
Yes, we just discovered this artificial intelligence. It's like, no, you're literally making it as we go. It's like you have full control, using your imagination, using your coding in order to produce the outcome in which you wanted to produce.
Yeah.
The computer has no will. It cannot will itself to produce something that is outside of itself. It's the same fallacy that I think was happening throughout the 20th century, when they wanted to say that animals and human beings really aren't that different. It's like, dogs bark and cats meow, and then people talk. It's like no, and then when they do it, is that then they want to observe it in a lab, right?
See how high he is.
Yeah, and then they have this like entire laboratory in which they're testing animal behavior by doing whatever, and then they're like, you see, it's very similar to the way humans react. And it's like,
yeah, because you did that.
Yes,
you programmed it to mimic that.
Yes,
and I can literally make a puppet move around like a person does.
Yes, you can. Yeah,
that doesn't make it a person.
No,
that's actually, is that a good analogy?
Yeah, any mechanism would be
any mechanism to replicate some quality of people.
Yeah, because it's looking as if it is doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's mimicking human behavior. When you see it,
that's a machine that
it's a machine that is doing things that look similar to what humans are doing, but it's even not doing that identical. And it's just like I said, the same thing we do with animals. So like you see the dolphin is going,
yeah,
it's like, so you see it's talking. Look, it's listening to him. It was like,
Yeah, because
no, you're attributing human qualities when there are none to attribute.
Yeah.
Like that is vastly different from, reading Plato's fucking Symposium or having a discussion of beauty and love or in art. I mean, or what we're doing right now. The dolphin is not doing that. The dolphin isn't like, dude, man, how's it going? Work was tough and the wife is being a bitch. It's like, that's not
and
what
I think a development of
they're
that,
doing.
The development of that point is even if you could program a computer to mimic human thought to the degree necessary to have a conversation about beauty, it's still not the computer doing it.
It isn't, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the programming that you put in there. And we're not just programmed things. And that's what they want to say. Well, yeah, you're just programmed with things you learn. It's like, no. Like literally you as a scientist who came to conclusions of artificial intelligence, before that was taught to the first person that did that, nobody thought of doing that.
No.
So no, he was not thought to do that. The person who decided to make a fucking airplane, he was not taught how to make an airplane because he was the first person to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can't say that we're just programmed things.
Programmed to do something.
It's going to do what it was programmed to do. It's not going to go outside of that program. It can't go outside of the program.
But what if you can program a computer to come to that conclusion?
I don't think you can.
If it doesn't have if there's nothing given to it that wouldn't.
Yes. Because it can't go outside of its program. Its limit is going to be whatever you programmed it to do every single time.
But I think the question is, can you program a computer to make again, that's a hypothetical. Like, could there have been a computer programmed to make a plane when no one thought about it?
Right. I would say no, because it's never in its algorithm.
Because people designed airplane wings observing birds.
Yes.
And that's allegorical.
Yes.
that's a
yeah. And the machine can't do that because
so let's as a thought experiment to develop a functional design for an airplane wing.
Yeah.
One, they observed the way that birds' wings are shaped because they can fly. But to do that, you have to want to fly and not be able to.
Yes. Yeah.
And a computer doesn't
have that. It's not sitting
You can't
there.
program a computer to desire.
Yes.
Yeah.
To desire something new and fantastical.
To like yearn for something that isn't.
Yeah. It can't. It has no human quality.
That would mean that computers could suffer.
Yep. Yeah. It would mean a lot of things.
What, your computer, the mom computer died or something?
Yeah, yeah. It's sad whenever you shut it off.
Yeah.
You know? We should someone should make a computer where it makes that sound when you shut it off. Oh.
Because the Mac
goes
startup sound is doom.
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Is that this one? Every time you shut it off, anyway. Surprised I remembered which button that was.
Oh yeah. That was good.
What? The sound?
Freak show.
Oh, I know.
Mm-hmm. We haven't had it for a while.
Well, we haven't had anything but Malbec for a long time. So maybe we should start. I think a single bottle is good.
Yeah.
When it's just us hanging out.
Oh, yeah. That was tasty.
Yeah, I feel like we've reached a point.
So it's so much more full, its flavor.
Mm-hmm. Malbec is heavier, but this is more acidic.
It is, yeah.
It's juicier, fruitier. Has more of a fruit.
Which
But the freak shows are all great. They're like the official wine of Contra Gentiles. It's the Zinfandel.
Nice.
The Zinfandel, I think, is my favorite variety of wine.
Is it? Yeah.
To just drink on its own.
Oof, it's good.
Yeah, I think one bottle's good. I think I personally have reached a point with the show where it's like I have to like think more.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing this for 2 years, where I have to be like more.
Yeah.
Conscious to think and have it. I think it's just, and I don't think that's just the show. I think that
you're just growing up too.
Yes. Yeah. I've just exhausted my passive learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's time to like
actively
think about stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that getting like pissed drunk every time on the show. Like,
doesn't
I'm
help.
like,
Yeah.
I just sit there.
Yeah.
Especially when we're on other people's shows. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is what I record with those people at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of obviously will not be drinking at 8 a.m. But
Yeah. We could have
you could have a little bit. Have a shot or something.
or that Bailey's with coffee.
Oh yeah. Irish coffee.
Sounds good. I might do that
Tomorrow.
I have to go to the fair tomorrow again.
Oh, why? When do you go? When do you go?
I'll be leaving there at 10. I think I'll be there.
And then all day?
For a few hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going tomorrow. I don't know what time. But
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But then I do have to come back. I have to come here to work. Somebody is using the studio, I think.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or maybe somebody else has to come and watch it. I might have to send either Elijah or Amanda to watch it. Yeah. Because I do think the shoot's going to go for a while. When I was in a fair with him last week, we were there for like 4
I know.
hours.
You were there a long time.
It was a long ass time.
Yeah. We've only recorded. I feel like we've been firing on all cylinders tonight because we've only hit an hour. So
Yeah. But it's been pretty.
No, I know it's good.
Yeah,
but we're not done. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if I don't know if you want to continue artificial intelligence, but I do think that's really where the complication lies. I think we try to make it. We get fooled by its mimicry to believe that it's actually
transgenderism is the same issue.
Yes, yeah. It's just displaying the
people
qualities.
don't understand. Well, people don't understand. It's I would obviously it is more. It requires more effort to understand the nature of the mind enough to know that it doesn't operate like a computer.
Yes,
that's a deeper dive than knowing a woman's not a man. It's like it's because the mind isn't just obvious how it works.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why there wouldn't be a developing study of the mind for a couple thousand years.
Yeah.
If that were the case. I feel like they figured out what is a man and what is a woman pretty early.
Right.
And then that hasn't been a major, like gender studies has no presence in any academic setting up until like 1920
I know,
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's so ridiculous. But yeah.
Yeah. I know I'm pulling the cart here. You said you retired, but
I'm a lot more awake now.
Do you want any whiskey or anything?
No, I'm good. But you could. I would drink with you if you pour some on yours.
I'll just do a little bit. Yeah, I just have whiskey over here, and I want a thing to sip. I don't want to be any more intoxicated than I am. Yeah. I won't. I don't want to give. Or maybe it would help. Maybe I can have a little extension of my discussion tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
I won't say anything. It's not been announced or anything, so I won't say anything about it. But I'm being, invited onto a show to talk about. Partially, there's a couple things. One of them. It's a few topics. One of them was I was given a video. The other was like explained to me as it will be explained during the course of the episode. And I was like, okay, well. So hopefully I have something to say about that.
Yeah.
Is this video, and again, I don't want to give a ton away, but it's essentially like, do the Jews run everything? And the answer is yes and no. Obviously, there are many Jews that have outsized influence in culture.
Yes, yeah.
But is it something intrinsic to the Jews? Yeah, in politics or whatever, everything. But is it because they're Jewish, or do they just happen to be Jews?
Yeah.
And obviously, I would say they happen to be Jews right now.
That part I don't know.
Because the Jews weren't running things in the Spanish Empire.
Yes, that's true.
So I don't know I think that maybe at this time in history there is a quality the Jews have that
for like the last 100 years, basically.
Yeah, maybe the Jews have some quality that was useful.
Yeah.
Contemporarily in some circumstance that gave them the upper hand in influence.
I mean, even if we go back, like reading the Jews and their lies, I do think that even back in the 1500s, a lot of the Jews were having a lot of cultural influence that riled up the Austrians and the Germans and everybody.
Okay.
There's
were the Jews a big deal in Catholic countries?
Yeah, they were actually.
They held outsized influence.
I don't know if I would say outsized,
because
but
the problem is people have outsized. They'd say it's outsized.
I think people thought that they did. Like there's a reason why even in the 1500s.
Do you know why that is? Why Jews are vilified?
Why they're vilified?
Yeah. Like what's special about them that they would be?
Yeah. I don't know. I've thought about it for a while, and I personally don't really know.
Do you think they're just a scapegoat?
I don't know if they're just mere scapegoats. I think that they do possess certain qualities about them that lend itself to like social success.
Mm.
And whenever they enter a nation, they kind of like parasites stretch all around to the fundamental institutions.
Well, Indians do that.
Not as much as the Jews to the West.
The presence of Indians is increasing.
The presence of Indians is increasing, but not in terms of power. Like many of them run phones and they're IT people.
No, I'm just saying there's many CEOs are Indians.
Yeah.
They are. So in business, maybe they're.
But I don't know what percent that would be.
It was.
Yeah. Like,
Almost every major American corporation has had an Indian CEO. There's a list. It's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that would be, but
is there something about Western culture?
It doesn't seem,
because they're not doing that in China. They're not doing that in
the Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
No, they're not doing it in China.
Yeah.
They're not doing it in Japan. They're not.
But China is also much more closed off.
Yeah.
I
Do you think the Jews would do that in China?
I think if they opened up, yeah, very easily. Because
I don't know what conversation there is to have about it if no one can pin down. I think my problem is I don't know why it matters. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, the Jews run everything. Okay, and what's the are they evil people?
That's the part that I agree with you. It's like I don't understand why it's necessarily a problem. Unless you just don't like them.
Yeah, you can just hate Jews, and that's fine.
And I
mean, it's not fine to me. Like I'm not even sarcastically an anti-Semite. I find that I find that meme, like anti-Semitism meme, like very off-putting and annoying and not funny.
Yeah. Yes.
And just because it not because it offends me, I don't see the humor.
Yeah.
It's funny to be like sarcastically hate black people or something. Like that's funnier to me than
than hating the
Jews. I'm like that's so played out, but.
Hitler kind of played it out too far.
Yeah, just like well that one's not cool anymore. That's been done.
Yeah,
you're not going to be that much of an anti-Semite. Hitler won anti-Semitism. Yeah, so it's like he won the game.
Yeah,
you can like hate natives.
Yeah,
hate the natives. Hate.
But you see, it's harder.
Hate Pakistanis.
It's harder to hate people who are very low class. I really do. Think
not when you interact with them all the time, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
you just pity them more.
Yeah, I think they're more.
Because I don't get the.
I think because we don't live in a state like Alaska is not infected with the Jews.
Well, many states aren't.
But many of the major ones are.
Like New York, obviously.
Yeah, if you go to New York, it's like
Jewtown.
Yeah. You go to so many stores,
but I don't know what is being attributed to Jews that makes them uniquely hateable. You might find them annoying.
I think that's what it is.
They're dispositionally annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, and
I think that's all it is in the end.
Then that's boring.
Yeah,
that's not a conversation. I don't care.
That's what I mean. Is that in the end, I think it's just that they don't like them, and so when the same way, like you get annoyed with the natives here because we are infected by a lot of the natives here. Maybe infected is loaded. Is not a good word for it. But they pervade. Yes.
Alaskan society.
Yeah.
in a way that is statistically unpleasant.
Yes.
I'm not.
And a lot of that is just culture, because
their culture is incompatible with
yes.
with the culture that's been imposed upon them.
I really do think in the end, the one of the many good teachings of the Jews was don't intermix.
Yeah.
Like the Jews just don't believe in that.
Yeah. Well, most East Asian cultures don't either. Yes. So I think that's that's the reason they're emphasized for me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that when we see them, because it's the same thing. If you ever hung out in heavy, like when I was living in PA, I did a lot of photo shoots in Harrisburg, PA.
Yeah. Harrisburg,
especially like downtown, is just Black America, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you can't. Every single house, there's just Black people. When you go to large Black communities, they look at the white people as being annoying, and it just bothers them.
Because of culture. It's a culture.
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing with the Jews. Is that when you live in an area where there's a lot of Jews, you just get annoyed by them because they're so
why
different.
My question is, why are all like so many people I know in Middle America like obsessed with Jews running everything? And I might sound like a huge shit lib right now. Yeah. I don't know, but I just think that there's a disc. I don't get what the issue is. I don't understand. Yeah. You just hate Jews? Like that's fine.
Yes, I really do think that's what it is.
But why? Like what's the?
It's the same way that I'm saying that white Black people hate the white people.
Yeah,
they just don't like them. They would rather see somebody.
Am
like
I too phlegmatic and I just don't care about other races?
Yeah.
That's just a special thing about me that I just don't care.
You do.
I do a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sarcastic about it, but I don't literally.
Yeah. I know you don't literally hate them.
Yeah.
And I think many of them don't actually.
But what I'm saying is I would maybe hate the Jews if there were any. But when I'm talking, if I have a friend in like Missouri.
Yeah.
Like Kansas City.
Yeah.
And they're like, Jews. I'm like, what are you talking about? You live in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like, what do you care if Jews run everything? You don't interact with them.
I think it's just because it's not them. It's not like them. Like if a bunch of spics began
do people think that Jews are like fundamentally opposed to our values or something?
Probably some of them do. I don't think all of them. I don't think that's
maybe
what
tomorrow's just going to be me like, what's the problem? Like, tell me what's going on here.
Yeah, because they're going to know better than me. Because I'm
I'm not going to care. I don't know. I don't necessarily.
Yeah. Yes,
it's very interesting. I don't know if it's strategic to ask me of all people on to talk about that specifically.
Yeah,
and like how little I care. Like maybe that was like have an outside person or someone who will like disagree with everything. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's I don't know. I've never talked about Jews before, except for the like Khazar one, and then like the Jews and their lies. We weren't making fun of Jews. We were making fun of Luther.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Hopefully, no one interpreted that as anything but that. But I just don't get it. I think maybe it's something I just don't relate. It's like I don't relate to it on a gut level.
I think because most people that hate the whole narrative of the Jews being in positions of power are just libertarians, and so they see a connection.
They happen to be in power.
Yes.
Therefore, I hate whoever's in power.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the Jews.
Yes.
It just is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think if there was
which is also annoying, but
yeah. If there's a different group, like if it's just a bunch of Latinos, then I think they'll hate the Latinos. Yeah. I think the only time they wouldn't mind if there were just libertarian white people in power. Yeah. Because then they're like, oh, I'm okay with that.
Joe Jorgensen or something.
Yes. And then they're okay
with
it.
She says the things I like.
Yep. Yeah. But the fact that they're not.
Because anarchy is anything I don't like.
I know. Yeah. We don't have to get into it.
President Joe Jorgensen would be, and it's an anarchist state at that point. Whatever. Again, I'm putting words in their mouth. It's not actually. I don't care what you think. Actually, that's actually not what I said. I don't care what you said. You're talking. You're just lying and talking
constantly.
About just non-reality.
Yeah.
And fact checking. You're redefined every word. Joe Jorgensen. That's President Joe Jorgensen ushers in the anarchist utopia with her weird puffy face.
Oh,
No, she consents to everything.
I know.
But nothing at the same time. We still have to put that dictionary out.
I know.
I don't want to piss. I don't care about pissing them off anymore.
I don't either.
Should we make a pact right now to not interact with them anymore, or are you just going to interact with whoever interacts with you?
It's hard.
Do you have a filter?
It's hard. No, I don't have a filter. So either I can't do any posts that's even closely related to them.
Because once someone responds to you, you're just going to...
I'm gonna
okay, so that's fine. We don't have to do that.
Yeah. Because like I said, none of my posts were actually directed to them in this.
It was like
recent time.
like neocons, like dorky conservative Republican types.
Yeah.
Rhinos and stuff.
Yep. And also with atheists. But I guess many atheists now identify as anarchists. I don't know. Like it's all weird to me. And that is one thing that I think maybe will be a good discussion.
Okay.
Is that I for the life of me don't understand contemporary atheists. Like, why aren't they just fucking anything that moves? Like, what stops them besides maybe they're just losers? Like, I don't get
Social discomfort?
Why would that bring discomfort? Have they never seen Foucault in an interview? That guy looked like one of the most comfortable fucking Frenchmen ever. Mm-hmm. The way he just leans back in his chair. Well dressed, a cigarette. Like, I was like, holy shit, this guy looks comfortable. What?
Holy shit, this guy looks comfortable.
He does. Like, holy man,
if somebody was convinced by aesthetics, he can easily convince them to become like this sex deviant atheist.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like that. His entire persona, which is beautiful, was magnificent.
Well, he's well dressed.
He's well spoken. Yeah. Like charming.
He's a beautiful writer, even if he's wrong. Yeah.
He smiled a lot. He looked legitimately happy. Mm-hmm. You see these contemporary atheists, they seem miserable.
They're like angry.
Yes. It's like, well, maybe go fuck something. Mm-hmm. Right? Go to an orgy, get monkeypox, do whatever. Like what the fuck is stopping you? Why is that? Why are you concerned about evil? Why be atheist then? It's like atheism should give you the license, to behave in accordance to your ability. It's like, if I am able to do this, I have no authority or concern of others.
Because that's the if you're going to trade any good meaning in your life,
yes,
trade it for something like good.
Yes, that's what I mean.
like make that worthwhile.
Yes, yeah. Make it amazing.
Yeah.
Just and so it's something that really boggles my mind that so many I have been called evil by more atheists than more.
What was that?
Protestant.
What was that interaction that said evil? There's something like, you're evil. It's like,
yes.
What are you talking about?
Because I like the Popular Liberty guy just made a post, and I was like, yeah, I don't understand atheists that doesn't fuck anything that moves and doesn't just kill people.
You're so evil. It's like, no, I'm saying you should be.
Yes, yeah, that's
I'm saying. Why do you care?
Yes.
Again, there's that. I don't remember there was the Reddit post about like anybody with statistically anyone with an IQ below 90 is not capable of computing counterfactuals.
Yeah, and it's weird. I really don't think they are.
That's a low IQ thing.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the tells of someone with a low IQ.
Yeah. And many of them
counterfactual them. Yeah.
It's like a kid when you do some of those experiments where they're unable to tell what's behind something when they're really young.
Yeah.
I think it's like that. It's like they don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like, do you not understand that right now I am arguing in a position of an atheist? I myself am not holding this to be true. I myself am not saying that I ought to fuck anything that moves and kill people and mutilate them and rape and all that stuff. Yeah. I'm saying from a position of an atheist, I have no proper logical justification to not do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's stopping you guys. Like, it's something that's so bizarre to me. It's like what is withholding you from you, besides maybe you're unable to do it or you're lazy. Mm-hmm. Like, there's something, because I don't know what the fuck else is there. Mm-hmm. Like, why not? Have they never fucked before? Do they not know how good that feels? Foucault definitely knew how good that felt. Right?
Knew all the different feelings.
All the different feelings, man. It was like awesome.
He was very familiar with a variety of feelings.
Yes, yeah. But these guys are
different
just like
mediums of feelings.
Yeah. It's like what is wrong with you? It's worse than just being hedonists.
Yeah.
It's like you're just angry and bitter and you reject the reality of God and you're not even having fun with it. You're not doing anything right. Just fucking kill yourself at that point.
Yeah.
Like you're literally better off dead at that point.
That's what you told Thaddeus Russell. But
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I have to send that to Mr. Patriarch.
Okay, yeah.
He wants that recording. But
Yeah, you're just better off dead. Just fucking just do it because what point is there in your life? You're not rejoicing in the pleasures. Well, at least that's a glimpse, a material glimpse of God.
Yeah.
Foucault at least knew God to some capacity. These fuckers don't know anything. They're so
bitter and
and
annoying and angry and arrogant
and absolute hell already.
They're not attractive.
No.
They're badly groomed.
Yes.
They dress badly.
Ugh. It's horrible. So what happened to you guys? They're not the same. It's just, I don't know.
Sam Harris has the skin of a contemporary atheist.
He does.
He looks like someone who's never enjoyed anything.
He doesn't look like he enjoys anything. It's like, does he? I don't think he has kids, does he? Yeah, he's like married without kids.
Does he get married?
I believe he's married. Yeah.
Ooh, who's she?
Just some other freak, probably.
See how short of a haircut she has.
Yes.
I'm gonna look up Sam Harris. We'll see if he's married. Because I'm really his face.
I know. Yeah.
Do you like those memes I do with POV? Sam Harris just masturbated. Did you see that?
What does POV stand for?
Point of view. It's like you're looking at.
Okay.
I'm explaining a meme format to you. But yeah, I liked this one earlier. He says something. So Sam Harris says, "I love seeing Trumpists condemning the political optics of this image." You know, the Biden picture.
Oh yeah.
Which is insane. It's insane. It's insane.
I thought that was photoshopped at first.
No, it's insane that image exists. That image is a real image.
I know.
Like, could they be louder? I would like if they just leaned into it. Just lean into it.
No.
Just be an insane. Just be a Mao.
When
just
I woke
do
up
it.
this morning and I opened like my Daily Wire app and that's the first image that popped up. I was like, "Is this like a Photoshop image? This can't be real."
It's
And
real. That's a real image.
I know it is. Yeah. Because
Yeah, for people listening, it's it's the thing where Biden's like. It's like
red.
It's like red
Red
dystopian
Capitol
with like guards in the back. Yeah.
Like,
Seriously, but Sam Harris says, "I love seeing Trumpists," which is a stupid word, condemning the political optics of this image. Admittedly, they are terrible, but they are only bad by reference to values that should lead you to totally repudiate Trump himself. For Biden, this is a gaffe. For Trump, it would be a window into his soul.
It's so stupid.
And then this thing where I said, POV, Sam Harris just masturbated to climax, repeating Trumpist over and over with steadily increasing volume and vigor. And it's that picture from the Sam Harris is a fraud. Sam Harris is so what's that article called?
Yeah.
I
remember
that
article.
It's called Sam Harris is a fraud.
Yeah.
And it's from the Rhizone. So it's the RHIZZONE.
Yeah.
And it's Sam Harris is a fraud, and it's a history of his fraudulent academic behavior and credentials.
Yeah, I remember that article.
It's long.
It's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a total academic fraud, but
He is, yeah.
yeah, we just hate him. I don't know what else to say about Sam Harris, but the same is he just doesn't enjoy himself. He looks like a depressed person.
I know. And that's what they all look like now. And it's so I guess
a Satan figure wouldn't look like that. A Satan figure would think he's awesome and dress well and spend money like crazy.
Or I guess one could say that they've embraced complete Satanism because Satanism is pathetic.
Yeah.
And I guess they're that pathetic to the point. It's like you're not even.
Okay.
Yeah, these other guys had this grace still. There was a grace.
There's an absurdity to there.
Yeah, you still go, oof, beautiful. You get attracted to that. It's like, oh my gosh. I would do the same thing, buddy. I'll do the same thing. But now with these guys, like I don't want to be you. Like he was like your life is
like
not.
Daniel Dennett was just gross looking.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he died. I was like, nobody cared.
He's alive. Christopher Hitchens.
Hitchens died. You're right.
Yeah.
Dennett
is
still alive. Yeah. I always call him Danae.
I know it's two T's.
So is Dennett.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Christopher Hitchens was hideous too.
He was at least really funny.
He was funny, but he was an ugly Brit. Like you imagine,
he's a comedian.
Ugly
Like
Brit, he was.
Yeah,
he was it.
Yeah,
like worse than what's the other ugly?
I'm
Brit?
trying to think of all who
Bean, Mr. Bean,
Rowan Atkinson. I love Mr. Bean.
I do too, but he's very unattractive. Like the way he contorts his face is perfect for what he has.
He's so good.
Yeah,
Mr. Bean is like the old stuff from the 70s.
I know. Yeah.
Spectacular.
But yeah. These guys just don't have any of that grace anymore. They're completely depleted to just. Why would anybody want that? just out of aesthetics, it's like that's ill, gross. Move on.
Yeah.
And I think
like that guy, the atheist arguing with you. Look at his face, and you're like, dude.
I know, and I think that's what ended up happening. They became an outlet for all the uggos that can't get pussy.
The uggos.
The
pussyless uggos.
The pussyless uggos. And now they have someone to blame, which is God, for their misery in their life. And they just get so mad at it. And your little sky daddy, your giant flying spaghetti monster. It's like, oh, you guys are just gross. Just, get laid.
That's all you should say.
Yes. Just go there and get some.
What's your body count, bro?
Yeah. If you have not like smelt that sweet pussy and grabbed that beautiful body, just die. What else you got to live for? It's if it wasn't the grace of God and the beauty and everything that you get through the faith,
the only real alternative is just the beauty of the feminine form.
It's just to get as much of that as possible.
I'm gonna get good at this.
Yes, to get a harem of women, and just fucking enjoy your life.
Yeah,
that's what if there was not this other alternative, if there wasn't a greater beauty to be had through Christ, then fucking drink and eat and and then die with that, and then just die with all of that and no regrets. Just boom, I lived a great life. Conquer something, do something. And so when I see these guys, I'm like, what is the matter with you? I they're so pitiable. They're like these fucking hobos. It's like, do something, and they don't. I think I don't understand the new atheists. These contemporary atheists, and they're getting worse.
The same thing as like anarchists who continue to not come to their senses will continue to be more and more insane. Yeah. Atheists that don't, when it's not even a publishing phenomenon anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's all the atheism was. It was never like a real popular movement. It was like a publishing thing.
Yeah.
The more that the people committed to that continue to be committed to that over time, they will just continue to be more and more insane and insufferable.
Yes, and gross. Just looking.
Yeah.
It's like nobody wants to touch that.
I want to see David Bentley Hart do like a, Richard Dawkins crossover or something.
David Bentley Hart, Richard Dawkins.
Sorry, crossover. I have a cold.
Yes.
Sam Harris and David Bentley Hart. I feel like they would talk to each other.
Yeah, they probably would.
Yeah,
maybe.
I feel like that could happen.
I think David Bentley Hart, I think he's too good to talk to him, though.
So who would he talk?
No Dennett. Dennett is at least an academic, like a legitimate one. Not a very good one, but legitimate.
Yeah. He's at least credentialed in some way.
But maybe Pinker. I think he would talk to Pinker.
Because Pinker's a new atheist. Kind of. He's in that tradition.
He's definitely atheist. But yeah,
I find him actually very annoying.
Yes, but he's actually logically consistent.
Yeah.
He thinks there's nothing wrong with raping children or killing like children after birth. It's like, he's be consistent. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's bad about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so
Steven Pinker on the show.
Yeah, he actually, since he's a legitimate academic, he probably wouldn't mind discussing. He wouldn't be like
you want
that.
Me to try to get Steven Pinker on the show?
Yeah, I would love to actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buy a plane ticket for the first major name we can get.
Yes. Hey Pinker, let's go shooting. They can bring him to Alaska and take him shooting.
That'd be weird.
I know.
Those giant hair.
Yeah.
He shoots the rifle and goes everything.
Yeah.
So some old service rifles.
Yeah.
Eventually something will happen.
I know.
Do you hear about the Gavin McInnes thing?
No, is he dead?
Don't know.
Really? What happened?
Let me look it up really quick while we're on air and recording so that I'm not getting it wrong. I need to make sure that no news has come out about it since then. They think that he's faked his own arrest, apparently.
Really?
Apparently interrupted by law enforcement. Yeah, so it was weird. It was like he started a show and he's streaming, and then someone comes into the room and he's like, "Who are you? I didn't let you in here. What do you want?" And they're like, it's like law enforcement.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you want?" Like kind of like, "Do you have a warrant?" Language.
He lives in Canada, right?
No, he lives in New York.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah, he's in the U.S. right now.
Okay.
But I've been increasingly convinced he's faked his own arrest because he's he's, I don't know if he was just desperate for a hiatus or something, and that was his weird way of doing it, or because he's like swatted apparently for some reason, and then no news about it for like a week.
Oh, really?
No one knows anything for a while. And then people are like, it's
weird.
It's very weird. Because it was right after the Trump raid also.
Oh, okay.
It's like 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
I was like,
What was this new show called?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
This is whatever his show is, his current show.
I didn't know he still had one.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. It's very funny.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. I don't follow anything.
I really miss those old days.
The Rebel Media thing. Yeah.
It's
crazy because I had dinner with Mr. Patriarch.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants his name. I don't know what he does with his name online. I've never discussed it, so let's call him Mr. Patriarch. But many of our friends know him. So but we were having, it's like he's like, Gavin McInnes is someone who is like very intrinsic in his right-wingification. Yeah. It's like, I don't know anyone who Gavin McInnes, who anyone of a certain age and older, who Gavin McInnes wasn't like a central figure in their radicalization. Yeah.
Anybody that
I really like, the Daily Wire doesn't exist without Gavin McInnes.
I know.
Like, it doesn't.
I really do think the two figures, Gavin McInnes and Milo.
Yeah.
Those two were like they were such disruptors that they just they're the ones that grabbed anybody that used to be on the left that moved over to the right. They were influenced by those two, and someone like me, I really miss them. Like, I miss that energy.
Well, it's of an era that just isn't anymore.
No,
that's what an early to mid 2010s thing.
Yeah, I think they started like 2013.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
By 14 they got really big, but yeah.
Yeah, because the like the Jordan Peterson thing was like 2017.
Yeah.
So remember I had kind of found out about him right before the Bill C-16, whatever it is. So I'm kind of a Jordan Peterson old head. We've discussed that before, but it's just that doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't, yeah.
And I think it's because they exploited a space in social media and like YouTube and stuff that was still unregulated at the time.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because now you couldn't do that anymore. Like YouTube knows what's going on now.
Yeah.
They're very, very locked down. Like if our show ever got like more than 150 streams regularly. Like, we have more than that on some, but
they'll probably take it down.
Yeah. Our audience share is low on YouTube, obviously.
Yeah.
But like compared to what we get on like the podcast apps and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like not a minor proportion of our listeners watch on YouTube. But if that ever changed, YouTube would shut it down pretty fast.
Right. Yeah.
And that didn't used to happen as much because it wasn't on the radar. They didn't worry about it as much. And obviously, leadership has changed, management has changed, and stuff like that. But it was a different. Like 2013, YouTube was a totally like 2013. Like that's the thing is like when you're tweeting at people, you're calling them like a retarded faggot and stuff. You're tweeting like it's 2012. Like you're literally tweeting like it's like people. That's why a lot of people find it refreshing because they're like, whoa, this is how people used to tweet like 10 years ago before anything was regulated. Before there were bans or before there was any, which like 5 years later that started happening. Because when did Milo lose his?
It was a while ago. It was like 2016.
Yeah, 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
but still, that's still 5 years after he started to
that's true. Yeah,
really blow up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that doesn't happen anymore. It's locked down to the point that
so people like that can never
there's no real like major actual dissident personalities.
Nick
in the
Fuentes is probably the closest to it, but he's not as flashy.
He's not as flashy. No one cares about him as much as they cared about Milo and Gavin. Like no one cares about Nick Fuentes as much as they still care about Gavin McInnes.
I know.
Like Gavin McInnes guys, like they care way more about Gavin McInnes even now.
Yeah, than anybody.
Than anyone ever cared about Nick Fuentes.
Yeah. He's too clean.
He's too clean cut. He's too polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those extravagant like college talks that Milo did. It was just great. Like he'll come like with a bunch of men carrying him. It's like I loved all of that. I love it. Was just a giant middle finger to everybody, and I was like, yes, you know. And then I remember one of his greatest college ones. If anybody ever want to watch it, says why Catholics were right about everything.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It was such a fucking good. I mean, in a public university, he gave a speech of why Catholics are right about everything. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's like this guy, balls of steel.
Yeah,
great man.
Well, it's just because there are still people with balls of steel.
I know. Yeah,
they're just not. It doesn't. They don't have the reach anymore.
Yeah,
because they're shut down so fast.
Yeah,
like you say retard on Twitter once, you're gone forever.
I know, faggot or nigger or something. It's like you're done. Why?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's just part of the game now. It's like I think that it actually is a beautiful strategy of the. I don't like saying left and right because it's not really left and right anymore.
Yeah.
But
you could just say American left and American left.
The American left. It's a beautiful strategy of the American left to totally rob the American, because we're not on the right necessarily.
Yeah.
Are we?
Definitely,
classically speaking, I think
we're more aligned with the American right than we are with the American left. I just have a lot of criticisms of the American right as well.
Because I don't know where I stand on any of that. Yeah. When I take like political compass tests and stuff, I get like authoritarian left and stuff. Like
I'm just Catholic, and so for me, it's like wherever that leads me, you could categorize me or whatever. But
it's probably by nature of you doing that, I'm probably in the same boat.
Yeah, pretty much. Some people think I'm too leftist. Some people think I'm too right. It's like whatever. I don't really give a shit. It's
depending on the issue.
Yeah, there's some things that are more important than others.
Yeah.
Like I really do think prostitution should be legalized.
Yeah.
But people think that that's a leftist point of view. It's like I really don't think it is.
Yeah.
Because I do think masturbation and pornography is worse.
Yeah.
I think
which is inherently not a leftist position.
It isn't. Yeah,
American left.
I would be much more comfortable with a society that bans pornography and masturbation and allows prostitution to be the case.
Yeah.
And so what does that make me? Weird.
That's pretty weird now.
Yeah, I think a strong. Like one of the things I've noticed working for the state and everything. was when you are looked after, people tend to be even more open. Like I have people's credit card information.
Yeah.
Because there's so much checks. Working for like something like either a large corporation or something like the state, there's so many checks on you that if you dare to violate the trust, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like you're so fucked that, you know, you would never, ever get a job ever again that is professional.
Yeah.
And so because of that checks, because of that strong authoritarian check that is on your ass, people feel the liberty to be okay with, like, oh, here's my credit card information.
Yeah.
So go, if you need to buy something, just use it and just bring me back the receipt.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it is. Like I was just at a Guitar Center. I spent over $2,000 on somebody else's credit card. And they just hand it to me, or they send me a screenshot of their information and say, oh, if you need to order from B&H, just order it. And it's like, I like that. And what I mean is that only exists if you have a stronger authoritarian government.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that I think the American government as it exists right now
is good
to be that government. No. I think there has to be a lot more reform that happens. But I do think that there is something that is very good about that, because you do then have more of the liberty of trust with others when you have that threat of punishment that you really don't want to happen to you. And I know other people in a past that worked for larger corporations. That was the same thing. You know, they'll be working like for BP, and it's such a large company, and people just trust each other with people's personal information that, you know, if they know that you would do something. I mean, they would find out if you did something. And so if they would find out you did something, you're fucked. But then they're just open enough to just say, well, here it is. You know, I want you to do this, and so I'm giving you this. That doesn't really exist in a normal sphere. Like if you're just a lonely worker in a whatever in a ordinary company, and you know you don't really trust your coworker that much. You know, trust them with kind of personal and private information about them. And so yeah, does that make me an authoritarian? I guess maybe.
Well, you think it's not that you're an authoritarian; it's that you understand that authoritarianism, I even hate that.
Yeah.
Isms have ruined everything.
Yes. Yeah. A strong authoritarian government,
or a strong
or institution.
Authoritarian rule is a justified tool in certain circumstances.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think certain things.
Not everyone should be an authoritarian forever, and not every political structure should be imposed in an authoritarian way.
Yes, yeah.
Not every view should be imposed by authoritarians with an authoritative figurehead.
Right, yeah.
But there are certain, like if you have no issue with an authoritarian government that is correct about everything.
Yes, none at all.
Like why would that be?
Yeah, because it helps you become more virtuous.
No.
Like if it helps you become a better person, then why not?
Yeah.
I don't think any institution will ever be perfect.
Yeah.
But I do think if the institution, the government institution or the corporate institution is geared towards the good, geared towards God, and that it implements rules that gives you the opportunities to foster the goodness that exists in you, because and so that's why I think some things have to be allowed. I do think food and sex are such huge drives in people that I don't think we ought to outlaw gluttony.
Yeah.
I don't think gluttony is good for people. I still think that's a sin or whatever, but I wouldn't outlaw that because
you wouldn't trust the state to regulate that.
Yes, I wouldn't trust to regulate that, but I also do think regulating that will cause too much stress in people.
No.
I think stress relievers are important. Sex and food and sleep are great stress relievers. If people have good rest, they got good pussy, and they got good food.
That's what the Soviets understood so well.
They did, yes, yeah.
They private anyone of any enjoyment of food and sleep.
Yes, it's like you ought not to distort that. You shouldn't disrupt that.
Yeah.
Now we should always foster and promote the proper forms of that. We should promote marriage.
Yes,
we should promote proper family.
But it's not the responsibility of the state.
It isn't. It's the responsibility of the individual to act in accordance to what is proper.
Yeah.
But then to put them in prison, like I'm okay. Well, you're gonna put fucking a prostitute in prison? It's weird to me. It's like why? I mean that is the means in which she is attempting to make money. She's offering
it's weird. It's weird that. And again, I don't know if I'm reducing too much.
Yeah.
But the same people, I don't know, would leftists say that prostitution should be legal?
Hold on, sorry.
Is it worth it?
It really went up through my sinus.
Hell yeah.
Yes, many of them do. That's why they say
it should be illegal.
No, it should be legal.
Okay.
But then that's why they're changing into sex workers. Like they don't even want to call them prostitutes anymore.
Okay, so they're so dedicated to their own to the legalization that they're just going to totally redefine it anyway.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is ridiculous. It's like no, they're not good. They're not doing something good.
Yeah.
I'm never going to sit there and be like, "Oh, this is morally justifiable." It's not morally justifiable.
Yeah.
I mean, you're desecrating your body, right?
Yeah.
You're letting these weirdos fuck you and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And then you're leading these other people into this sin.
Mm-hmm.
The issue that I have with outlawing it is not because I think it is good. I think it's that if you do outlaw it, that tension, that tension, especially that you have in contemporary society, that tension is going to manifest in even worse ways.
Of course.
And I think that's what we see. I don't want to like interject too much, because if I do, then people are going to make me say, well, you need to have more evidence for this. And I definitely do. But just think about, why do we have so much mental states that we now call mental illness, right? All of this depression, all of this anxiety, school shooters, everything. I think a lot of this is that we don't have stress relievers. All you really have are a bunch of incels masturbating and looking at a fucking screen. Nobody can tell me that masturbating is as pleasurable as a female pussy.
Yeah.
The body, the breasts, the waist, the ass, all of that stuff, feeling that, touching it. You cannot tell me that your hand in any way can replace that. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And so they do this multiple times a day. These people get addicted to this shit. And then it still doesn't relieve the stress. It still doesn't, give them whatever. So they start smoking weed, and then they get the munchies. And so they start eating a shit ton. And then they start eating a shit ton. Then they just want to play video games. It's like they're looking at all these outlets where probably 5 minutes with a prostitute would solve it just like that. Mm-hmm. Like, you're done. All right. You sinned, you fucked up, go to confession, but it's done.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Again, you're not. I think what people hear when you say that, especially, are more socially conservative friends.
Yeah.
One might say puritanically
inclined, at least.
Inclined friends, puritanically sympathetic friends would hear you saying you're promoting prostitution.
Yeah, no.
Which is not what you're doing.
No.
You're just recognizing that it would be better to have legal prostitution than everybody jacking off all the time.
Yeah. And I think the more research we have done and the kind of fucked up mental states that it puts young people in now, especially young men, is that they can't even get off by actually having sex. The reduction of what men now are having sex both with their spouses and their girlfriends has reduced exponentially. They can't perform. It's like you have altered the mind of the human so pervertedly that they're literally stroking their penis with their hand. The same hand that they use to eat, shake others, they're stroking their penis multiple times a day. living in fantasy world where they're not even having the scent of the woman, right? You know, the scent of the pussy juice. Any man that knows it's like you smell that when they begin to get aroused.
It's like a shark in blood.
Yeah. Yes, it's like even before they take off their clothes, like you smell that and you know what that scent of the woman is. It is. You get absorbed in this beauty and this glory that really is this activity that you're doing with somebody else, and all you do now is live in fantasy world, and you live in your head, and you don't communicate, and you're never fucking pleased. Like you cannot be pleased by these fantastical realities. So much so when Josh was talking to me about this phenomenon that they do called edging.
Oh yeah, where you never actually ejaculate.
Yes. It's like it's to the point that you just what are you seeking? It's like you're seeking actual pleasure. Ultimately, you're seeking God, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you're seeking pleasure, you're seeking God. Fine.
Yeah.
That is the lowest form of the seeking of God. It's the pleasuring of the self with fantasy.
Yeah.
Like that is the lowest form of it.
Yeah.
And I think it fucks with such young people's minds that they don't even know what to do when they actually encounter a woman. Some of them can't even get hard because they get so anxious in the potential to encounter the female is that they can't even get their dick erect. That's weird. That's fucked up. That is worse. And so I think that the government ought not regulate certain things like that. You know, we should have glorious foods. We should have wine, you know, beer, alcohol. I would even say, even though I don't like it, the government shouldn't regulate weed. Yeah. Like these things are things that I don't think people are to
as someone who I know what smoking weed is like. There is no rational argument as to why achieving at least in some way a similar level of intoxication with marijuana as you do without. There's no, like, marijuana isn't like intrinsically evil.
It isn't
in a
exactly,
way that alcohol isn't. It's once you lose control of your judgment and faculties, which is different from everybody. That you, like, I can't smoke weed and not...
Right. Yes.
Like I don't want to do that.
Yes.
It's wrong of me to do that.
Exactly.
Like it's not a thing I can do. But there's no rational argument.
No. Yes. Yeah.
About between the two.
Yes.
You know, like Michael Knowles type is like, well, we've had alcohol forever. We haven't had marijuana. Yeah. That's a prudential argument.
Yes.
And as a politician, that might, you know, like maybe let's not legalize this because we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. But that's not an actual argument.
Yes. Yeah. Like one of the things that we have had probably as long as alcohol, at least in Peru, was cocaine, coca leaves.
Oh yeah. So I've chewed coca leaves before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
the leaves, I don't know.
Like chewing on coca leaves, doing all the stimulus. Like
we drink coffee. That's the thing is like people.
Can I have a little bit more?
Yeah. You want more? Okay. Do you just want this? No. It feels good though when it happens.
I know.
I know the drinking is difficult for you, but is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. But you know, people are like, oh, well, we drink coffee, so why can't people do heroin?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't really do heroin and it not totally fuck you up.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not possible.
Yeah. Right.
Opium, maybe. I don't know anything about. I don't know. I can eat a poppy seed muffin.
Right. Exactly.
Like it's.
I do.
If we figured out a way for alcohol to be as potent as heroin, I would not want people doing that.
Yes. Yeah.
If it could be that fast, if you could drink a shot of tequila and you nod out, just bam, gone.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
That whatever substance that would be called.
Yeah. The only issue that I really have with weed more than anything is the lasting effect it has on your body.
Yeah.
Especially with women, it makes them infertile. Weed is one of the longest, and anybody could look this up.
It stays in your system for
it's one of the longest drugs to get out of your system. Even heroin can leave your system within like a week.
Yeah.
Weed takes 2 years. Like
it's like 6 months to 2 years. You can still test positive.
Yes, yeah. 6 months if you did it lightly. If you're a pothead, it's going to take 2 years. Like it's very rare that it's going to be 6 months as a pothead. And so it's like that there is something about weed that I think attaches itself to your body that causes more damage. Yeah. But even then, I don't think that ought to be government imprisonment. Mm-hmm. It's like that shouldn't be imprisoned. It's the same thing with psychedelics. It's like if somebody wants to eat shrooms, it's like I'm not going to do it. Yeah. But it seems weird to me that you're going to saying that ought to be a course of imprisonment. I do think a proper government should not promote it and shouldn't try to make it into a good thing. But But ultimately, I think
it's once people start saying like, "Oh, you'll learn everything about yourself if you just do mushrooms enough."
No, you're getting stupid. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like just
getting stupid feels really good.
Yes, and some people,
like being pissed drunk is awesome.
Yes, and I think a lot of people need that. Yeah, and it's not good to be a drunk.
Like one of the best nights I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
Was I worked on the train, so they hire out of state a bunch of like seasonal workers and stuff. And there were like a bunch of black dudes from what's the Miami Beach? Mm-hmm. Because it's different than Miami. It's north of Miami, but it's a bunch of black dudes from Vero Beach.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm going to tell Jay to listen to this. Jay, the Miami Jew.
Okay, yes, yeah. Which I want him on again.
We should do that. Can we set that up in the next couple of weeks? Okay, yeah. No, he wants to come on. You guys
are hilarious.
We should he's single. Can we fly him up or something?
Can we do it next month?
Yeah. Fly him up?
Yeah.
You will do that?
Yes.
We'll do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take him shooting.
Well, he shoots guns.
But not in Alaska. Alaska, you could just go to Mod Road and start fucking shooting.
October?
Like how about end of this month?
Do I have to text him right now?
Yeah, we got the PFDs this month, and so.
Do you want me to text him right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me figure this out because what really annoys me, I hate when someone on iMessage updates their when they update their iMessage information and they it's like, do you want to change this detail? Right, and then it just changed their entire. I had him as the grape, the Jewish, the Esther. You have to protect your people or whatever. Yeah. The Jewish grape from VeggieTales.
Yeah, yeah.
And Jew. His name was Jew.
There was a Jewish. I've never seen VeggieTales.
Yes, but it was Mordecai in the episode.
Some of it, but never.
There's an Esther episode where they do Esther, and there's Mordecai. He's this Jewish grape.
So do they do just the Bible stories on that?
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny in like very dry. It's not horrible.
It always seemed cringy to me.
It is, but it's like it's like there's a self-awareness to it that I think people appreciate.
Oh, okay.
So what should I say to him? Should I say, "Do you want to fly to Alaska?" Okay. Anyway, this is a new thing that's happening right now. So we do. You get the PFD, and you have 1 million children. Anyway.
But October would be cheaper.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
You said something about Jay. We were talking about alcohol. You said one of the best nights that you had.
Oh, no, I was talking about Vero Beach. Vero Beach.
Yeah.
One of the best nights I've ever had was the end of the season.
Yeah.
It was like the season ended September 20th, and this would have been like September 12th. And there's a bunch of people who depending on their, it's the end of seasonal work.
Yeah.
The train's slowing down.
What year was this?
This was 2019, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That Anne-Marie and I worked on the train over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's weird. But like that's how much time has flown.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. But a bunch of people are flying out of town because it's seasonal work, and they're, depending on people's flights and what they have, if they have school starting up, everybody's kind of leaving, and like we're kind of the stragglers. Yeah. And there's Felipe was this Brazilian dude who was dating. I don't remember her name. She was Cuban.
Ooh, nice.
I think they're engaged now. Beautiful, beautiful. Mm. They're a beautiful couple.
Good.
In like the most, he's from Brazil. He's just beautifully Brazilian in his disposition. He just always wants to have a good time.
Yes.
I made him food. It's beautiful. Jay replied. Should I say October?
Yeah, just say October.
Okay, October.
Because we can
Okay. Because no one has any family anyway. Mm-hmm. And there's like a bunch of black dudes, and they like taught me how to like talk like a black dude from Vero Beach because I thought it was funny. Like I would
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're teaching me all their slang and stuff.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. But they were like, we're all just gonna go out to like Willowa and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And these are black men from Florida, and they party 10 times harder than I can imagine. And I show up to Willowa. People in that's an Alaskan thing.
Yeah.
It's a bar, it's a music venue / bar here. They hand me a White Claw and a shot.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, they're like 3, 2, 1, and they take the shot, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, we're in the White Claw, and like 5 minutes later they hand me another shot, and I'm like, okay. Look, I got it. So you know what? If this is one night of my life, I just have to keep up.
Yes, yeah.
I just have to.
Let's do it.
Because I'm never going to meet these people ever again. I will
Yeah.
never see anyone again. And if we're going to go out like this, just pray about it. Just be like, please. And I remember, like, I had like 3 shots in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I remember just like blackout, like I'm dancing on the dance floor, not on the dance floor, dancing on the dance floor. Now we're walking around the street, and I'm like coming on, like blacking in and out and in and out. And I'm just like, that's one of my favorite memories ever.
Yes, yeah.
But you can't do that all the time.
I know you can, yeah.
That's what stoners do.
Yep, yeah. Yeah, it fucks with their heads.
Fucks.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that all the time.
I know, of course.
The state shouldn't arrest me for it.
I know, exactly, yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like with like weed, like people should be allowed the option to be that kind of fucked up.
Yes. Yeah. Because, they're not. The thing about corporeal pleasures is that we can't negate the goodness that they have. Because there exists goodness in corporeal pleasures. And that is why, like, to try to tie this back to the things we were talking about earlier, that is why these new bitter atheists, I think, are just weird, because they're not even they don't even have that aspect of the goodness. It's like the corporeal pleasures is just it is, it is a window to God.
Yeah.
And when we partake of it, we at least have maybe 1/10 or 1/100th of what it knows to be in paradise. That joy, that beauty,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's there's something I think about those things that just need to be permitted within a society, not to be morally permissive, but simply pragmatically permissive.
Mm-hmm.
What is he saying?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
That's just I love that. I just love that. There's almost a chatty like recklessness to be like, yeah, I'll fly this way.
Yes, yeah.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Someone has to sit in this chair that we know. But
It's gonna be great.
Are we good?
Sure.
We're over 2 hours.
Yeah.
We're good. Can you hit the thing when we say bye?
Yes. Bye.
Bye.